Hello, it is Sextalk here, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video, the final part of this series looking at every single mount in the World of Warcraft. And today we're going to be finishing up looking at all the mounts that have been in the game's code but have never been implemented into the game. Here we go. Unused Infernal mounts. Now there are two Infernals in the code of the game, which unfortunately have never been implemented into the game. There are a total of 5. 3 have been added, of course. The Fellblaze and the Hellfire being from Gul'dan, and the Frostshard Infernal being a reward for collecting so many mounts. The ones that were never used are the Cold Flame Infernal and the Flame Core Infernal. Possible rewards from different bosses, or possibly rewards from lower levels of Gul'dan. Of course, because they were never implemented the game, we don't know how we would have attained these mounts. Then we have a few unused Mechanostrider mount variants. The first one being the red and blue Mechanostrider. This one has been in the data for World of Warcraft since Classic, but unfortunately it's never been implemented. There is actually, however, in game a rare spawned rogue Mechanostrider called Optimo that uses the exact same colour variations as this mount, but unfortunately he is not set to drop a mountable version, which is more than likely where this one has come from, even though it does have a skin or texture noted down as test, which means it's possibly this is just a test mount for early World of Warcraft. And then we have the purple Mechanostrider, which again has been in the data since early World of Warcraft, but has never been made attainable and is more likely obtainable with the more basic mounts that you get in the early run-throughs of playing a dwarf or a gnome, of course. And of course there is one more Mechanostrider which is a bit more well known, and we'll get onto that one next. The Fluorescent Green Mechanostrider. This one has a very interesting backstory behind it. This mount was only obtainable once by regular players, and that was a massive cock-up by Blizzard. It was mistakenly sent to a player by a GM after they submitted a ticket for accidentally deleting their normal Mechanostrider mount, which they had, of course, purchased from the vendor. Of course, he was the only player to own this mount until unfortunately he was banned because he tried to sell the account with the extremely rare mount on it. And of course, since that account has been permanently banned, there will never be another one of these mounts in the game. Stormcrow. This mount has existed in the data for World of Warcraft since early patch 5.4, but unfortunately has never been implemented into the game, and there has never been any indication of how players were meant to obtain this mount. There's been a few speculations over the years, first that it was linked to a hidden boss on the Isle of Thunder, which of course was never found, or that it was a promotional item used in the Heroes of the Storm game, which is going to be some sort of cross-promotion material, but unfortunately it was never obtained, and as time passed it doesn't appear that this one will ever be implemented into the game. The Purple Dreadwing. Now this one is a different colour variation to the other Dreadwings which are available in Shadowlands from different variety of tasks around Revendreth. Of course, one of them being from raids, one of them being from a rare spawn, and another one which is currently unknown how to obtain but is obtainable in the code. And of course, this purple one being another colour variant, it was of course just decided not to implement it into the game before the expansion launched. The Black Dragonhawk mount. Now this mount, while not available to players, uses the exact same mount and colour of the Dawnblade Dragonhawks mounts, which are found on the Isle of Kil'Danas. It's of course unsure how we were supposed to obtain this mount, if it was going to be from a quest chain inside the Sunwell Plateau or on the Isle itself. Unfortunately, with Burning Crusade well gone, it is unlikely we shall see this mount implemented into the game. Neverdrake. This is an unused Neverdrake mount, but it has one important distinction comparing it to the other Neverdrake mounts. Its belly is dark with luminescent markings, while all of the other mounts have a more monotone underside. There is currently no known knowledge of how we're supposed to obtain this mount, even though it does match the colour variations of some NPCs in the Bastion of Twilight, so it is very possible that this mount was supposed to be obtainable from the Bastion of Twilight, but it was never implemented into the game. Unused Gladiator Proto-Drake colours. Now these were supposed to be released in the Battle for Azeroth, but of course they ran out of seasons before these were put into the game, so of course they were never used. These are the Gold Gladiators Proto-Drake, the Green Gladiators Proto-Drake, and the Pale Gladiators Proto-Drake, and as they were supposed to be used in Battle for Azeroth, it is extremely unlikely we'll ever see them in the game. Tempturious Sky Stallion, that's a mouthful. This fiery red version of the Half-Steed was originally created at the same time as the blue variant, but unfortunately was never used. It briefly was serviced in the data for Basil for Azeroth in the beta, where it was assigned as a mount collection reward, but unfortunately this was later rescinded and completely removed from the data. The blue-green Deathwalker. Now this uses the same model as the Sin Touch Deathwalker, but with of course a blue and green colour instead of the all black. With the other Deathwalker being used as a Shadowlands Keystone Master for Season 1 achievement, it is very possible that this will be implemented at a later date for perhaps one of the other seasons, but at this present time there is currently no way of obtaining this mount in-game. Right, and that is it. That is the last episode of our series of looking at every mount in World of Warcraft. So if you've enjoyed that, please punch the like button, leave a comment down below, of course subscribe if you're new to the channel, follow my Twitter link down below as always. And last thing to say, I've been XLKX, and I'll see you in the next World of Warcraft video. Thanks for watching.